Alright, here we go. So, this is Cucco Attack's first Let's Play of a first hour demo of a game. It's kind of a new segment I wanted to try out here. So, I'm Patrick Hughes, and my co-host usually for the podcast is not with me, so this is just a thing that I'm trying out here. But, quick foreword before we get started. We're going to do an hour gameplay of Hollow Knight. If you've never played it, you can kind of get a feel, see what it's like. I'll try to keep commentary as light as possible because I'd like the game to speak for itself mostly. And honestly, the music and sound design of this game is fantastic, so we'll definitely want to listen to that. But without further ado, let's jump into the game here and take a look. The reason I chose Hollow Knight as my first game I wanted to show off here has been probably my favorite game since it released, topping or tying that of my previous favorite game, which was The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. But this game just blew me away. And forewarning, I've played it 2 times now. You'll see right here in a second. 108%, 112%. So yes, I'm pretty familiar with the game, and it may seem a lot easier than it is if you were to initially try for the first time. So be forewarned that it is a little more difficult than you might anticipate. We're just going to do classic mode though, and let's go. And honestly, I've just been looking for an excuse to play this again for even just an hour or so. Oh my goodness, so good, so good. So there aren't many cutscenes in this game, but they are beautiful. Just style and art. I love this game so much. So for those of you wondering, this is a kind of Metroidvania mixed with a kind of Zelda 2 sword play. Maybe a little Dark Souls-esque, trying to learn enemy patterns and stuff. The beginning of the game has been told to be kind of slow, but once you get far enough in the game, it builds up fast. And of course, as any good Metroidvania, there's lots of secrets to be found. And traps. Lots of devious traps. So this is kind of like the main little town hub area of the game. I just want to point out this is the only character who starts in this town. Looks very sad and despondent. So, as your first friendly character, most people would talk to him, but if you choose just to walk past him, you'll notice a little animation. Oh, reach out his hand, like, please. And if you actually go back and talk to him after doing that, he even mentions it. It's such a endearing little detail. Like, I feel like they added that just to make speedrunners feel bad for walking past him. And these benches here act as your like checkpoints / save points in the game. Anytime you die, you respawn back at this bench, and then you have to go recollect your soul and money wherever you perished, which is kind of also like a Dark Souls element. So and here we go. That was kind of just the prologue of the game. This is where the adventure starts. As you can see, we have a choice of which way we should go. With new enemies, unfamiliar territory, greater challenges. A lot of the joy of this game is just the joy of exploration and discovery. It's so good. And this game does a really good job. It doesn't hold your hand at all. It's all about figuring out things on your own, making your own connections and storytelling. And whenever you hear that hum, this guy is the guy who gives you your map. Because if I press the button right now, actually no, that doesn't do anything. Well, let's just let him explain.
Cucco Attack this.
So without the compass, we have no idea where we are. You could have an idea, because we kind of went down that tunnel to the left, and there we are with his little face at the bottom left. And you can see kind of a boss icon. That's where we want to head first. So, but yeah, as you explore new areas of this game, you can kind of hear his humming, and as try to head towards the sound to find out where to go next and find the map. That's always kind of an important aspect. But sometimes he hides himself in very tricky corners. Just have to figure out like how the heck do I get there. Don't want to head down that way yet. So this is right here how you heal. Just hold the A button. You can see it takes a little bit of your kind of white soul that fills up in your face. And anytime you kill enemies, you build that back up. So it's kind of a play on being aggressive and defensive. So this is kind of your fast travel system in the game. As you unlock more stations, you can kind of get around. So let's head back to town real quick just to see if anything new has popped up. Just so you can see that cool animation.
Nada.
Looks like I'll need some more geo for that compass. I really want that quill. That's how you update your map as you explore. So close. Crazy to believe that this game was developed primarily by like 3 people in Australia, and just the level of polish that it holds as a first game at that, it's unbelievable. You can kind of hear a little secret like sound coming. I know the boss is to the left, but I just wanted to Go up here real quick. Because that should unlock that path up there now. And now we should be able to do a full circle if we ever wanted to. Actually. So if you had chosen to go right on the crossroads, this is kind of the path where you would have ended up. And this gives you an idea of a big, scary enemy, which you might feel too weak to take on at first, but if you have enough experience and have a little more confidence in yourself, you can actually take this guy right at the start. So it's kind of a fun, optional challenge. But he's pretty scary. But he hurts so bad if he hits you, like multiple damage. Alright, let's go to the boss now. Or maybe I can show you just a little sneak peek of this. We can't really go much in here, but you can meet one character, which is pretty cool. This happy little miner. Who has very morbid poetry. A real fun story about this character. If you keep visiting her throughout the game, her dialogue keeps changing. And there's one item that you eventually get called a dream nail, which lets you read the thoughts of any character or enemy in the game. And you can hear her thoughts. And as you keep visiting her, you can slowly see her descent into madness as she is mining something that is probably shouldn't be mined. So definitely I recommend visiting that character frequently if you can. It's a pretty cool little story. This game is full of cool little stories like that. So you see the big enemy down here. So this one, they gave you a way to skip him if you want, because he can't follow you through that little tunnel. The one up top was for a reward, but so you had to fight him, but again, that was optional, so you could come back and later in the game when you're much stronger and make it a much easier fight. again, I should mention this game is a lot harder than I'm making it look. Once you learn this boss's patterns, it becomes pretty easy, but first time you face it, you might have a little more difficulty. Especially since you face this boss as an optional boss fight again if you want to face him, but a harder version, and he is much more difficult. He's a lot faster, a lot more powerful, so you have to learn his patterns. Did I miss a treasure chest up there? Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's get that Geo. How are we doing on time? About 20 minutes in, not too bad. Ideally, I would like to get to maybe at least the City of Tears by the end of this first hour, but we'll see.
Namino, namino. Bueno, nin mea.
Had a feeling. Now you needed to do that, so.
Namino, namino.
Basically, I can shoot a blast now, but it consumes some of my soul, so I like to save it unless I really need to use it. I'm very much a proponent of the sword swing in this game as like my go-to weapon. Probably because I play a lot of Zelda games, so. These statues refill your soul I can show you real quick. Each time you hit it, you refill, but they have a limited amount of how much before they run out. And anytime you sit on a bench, it kind of respawns all those statues and also all the enemies in the world, so just kind of good to know. You might remember those from the prologue. Those little blue guys extend your health bar a little bit. get too close to him, he armors up, so that's why you need that spell to defeat him. And then he shoots out bad guys so that you can refill your soul. And you can see we got our first charm, which are kind of like power-ups you can equip, but you can only equip so many depending how many notches you have. And this one you can see takes 2 notches, so we can equip it once we get to a bench.
Oh, malama too.
You can see kind of where we've explored our inventory and our moves. I think eventually you can look at like all the enemies you've fought and killed so far, which is kind of cool. I think we get that in the next section. So that's where we first met the map maker, but we are able to get his map already. Although we still need that quill if we're gonna expand our map. So we might pop into town real quick before we go too far.
Bapanada.
We'll save that for now. You can see he scribbles in his map, and now if we actually yeah, you can see it's a little more filled out, and we've explored most of the Forgotten Crossroads. We skipped that little middle section and that section down there. And you can also see areas that aren't filled in the map. Those are areas that weren't charted by the map maker, but there's definitely something in those gaps. If we were to venture into them, we could be the ones filling uncharted territory. So the map maker only fills you out so much of the area. The rest has to still be explored by you. And you can also see should be, oh no, I haven't equipped it yet. There we go. There we are. We're on the map now with our little compass. So if you get lost, it's a useful charm to have.
Madaula, Yesu.
So, why don't we explore the missing little section real quick, just so you can see it. And then we'll head to the next area. this ominous structure, which you may recognize from the opening cinematic of the game. So obviously this place holds greater significance that will have to be ventured back to later in the game. If any of you have played Super Metroid, it's kind of in the same vein of, you'll get the idea what that means, yeah. A final area that is unlocked by certain means. And just for fun, we'll loop back this way. Yeah, we can't reach him right now. We need a power-up later. Which, like in a good Metroidvania, you get power-ups that let you better explore the area and retraverse previously explored sections in new ways, so... Visit one last place before we go to the next section. Yeah, I don't know if you remember the caterpillars we saw earlier, but... I just love their sound effects. I love how each section kind of has its own like color, hue, palette that gives a lot more theming and just presence. I don't know. Let's see, we don't have a map yet for this area. We're gonna have to listen for some humming. Kind of hoping I could just squish him, but... You can see a torn page there. We're getting close.
Hungry Mopta.
That's right. I don't know if this is how you're supposed to go, but we're just gonna go this path. I feel like that's kind of an advanced technique that you learn later in the game. This is one of my favorite characters in the game.
Bacala, man?
Zote the Mighty.
You know, me a piece.
Now, just so you know, you actually have a choice of saving him or not. If you just walk past, that bug will devour him and you won't see him the rest of the game. But I strongly encourage you to save him because his conversations the rest of the game are absolutely worth it. And you get a super cool optional boss fight later in the game with him if you choose to keep him alive, so please save him. He's the best. Oh. Oh gosh. This was a mistake. I'm out of here. I'm not that confident, guys. Okay.
Drosik Halimo. Garama! Shaw! Shaw! Ha! Ha!
Use this opportunity to heal. Alright. Wrong button. Oh. That's how you get out.
Manamatu Churo namen. Manamatu Churo namen. Goa, nudo ailamek.
He wasn't friendly. We're running just about out of time here soon. I don't think we're gonna make it to the City to Tears, but hopefully you got a good impression of what this game is like. If you have any questions or comments, feedback, make sure to leave a comment, let us know. Any suggestions for other games you'd like to see? I'm all open to suggestions, but I have a few in mind otherwise, so stay tuned.
Mia caro. Very mad. Mio caro.
And on that note, I think we'll end there. Let's see. As you can see, this is about all we explored in our first hour here. But if you can imagine all that empty space below, it is huge how big this world is. If you really want to venture and explore everything, this game will likely maybe last you 30 to maybe even 70 hours. I'm not even joking how big this world is. So that's Hollow Knight. If you think it's cool and want to check it out, I highly encourage you to pick it up. It's I think only a $15 game, sometimes on sale for $10. So the amount of content you get for that price value and the quality of it is absolutely phenomenal. Yeah. Until next time. Happy gaming, everybody.